All right, so if you're building anything with LLMs, you've probably hit this wall. How do I get it to talk to my data? It's a huge question. And a lot of times, it feels like you're stuck choosing between two different kinds of experts, a general contractor or a super specialized librarian. Well, today, we're going to break it all down and give you a simple blueprint so you know exactly which tool to pick for your job, or maybe even how to use both. Look, both LangChain and LlamaIndex are fantastic tools for building these RAG apps, but they really do come at the problem from completely different angles. So my promise to you today is simple. By the time we're done here, you'll know exactly what each one is good for, and you'll have a super clear way to decide which one is right for you. Let's dive in. Okay, first things first, let's just do a quick level set on what RAG, or Retrieval-Augmented Generation, even is. The simplest way to think about it is this. Instead of just asking an LLM a question and hoping it knows the answer, you're giving it an open book test. You find the relevant info first, hand it over, and then ask it to generate the answer. It's a game changer for cutting down on mistakes and using your own private or brand new data. So how do we actually build one of these things? How do you set up that open book test for an AI? Well, it turns out there's a pretty standard pipeline, a series of steps to get your data ready for the LLM. Okay, so this is pretty much the standard assembly line for any RAG system. First, you get your data in. Then you chop it up into smaller, more manageable pieces. And then comes the really cool part. You turn those chunks into these numerical fingerprints. We call them embeddings. You store all these fingerprints in a special kind of database. So now, when someone asks a question, the system just looks for the fingerprint that's the closest match, grabs the original text chunk, and gives that to the LLM. Super clever, right? Now, both LangChain and LlamaIndex help you build this whole thing, but they really focus on different parts of this assembly line. So let's properly meet our two main players. And honestly, the best way to understand the difference is with this analogy. Think of LangChain as the general contractor who can build your entire house from the ground up. LlamaIndex, on the other hand, is the expert librarian who is just obsessed with perfectly organizing the library inside that house. And that's really the core of it. LangChain is this massive, modular toolbox. It gives you all the pieces to build not just RAG, but complex agents that can think step by step and use different tools. LlamaIndex, it is laser-focused on one job, and one job alone, getting your documents indexed, structured, and ready for retrieval, and doing it better than anyone else. So you see, they're both trying to get you to the same place, a working RAG application, but they have totally different philosophies on how to get there. Let's look at how each one tackles that pipeline we just talked about. LangChain's whole approach is about giving you the building blocks. It's like a giant Lego set for LLM apps. It gives you the individual parts, chains, agents, tools, and says, here you connect these however you want. RAG is just one of many, many things you can build. Its real power, its superpower, is in those complex, multi-step workflows. And you can really see that general contractor vibe right here in the code. As the developer, you are literally wiring everything up yourself, step by step. You're telling it how to split the text, which embedding model to use, where to store it, how to retrieve it. You get total control over every single detail. Now, LlamaIndex goes down a totally different path. It's the expert librarian. It already knows the best way to catalog and find books. It's not worried about the plumbing or the electrical and the rest of the house. It is singularly focused on making the library, your data, flawless, with really smart defaults that just work right out of the box. And just look at the difference in the code. It's so much simpler. You basically just hand your documents over to LlamaIndex, and it takes care of all that complicated stuff. The chunking, the embedding, the indexing, it's all happening behind the scenes. In just a couple of lines, you have a seriously powerful query engine. It's built for speed and ease of use for this exact problem. Okay, so we've seen the two different philosophies. Now let's put them right next to each other. This is where we get into the real nuts and bolts of their strengths, their weaknesses, and when you should use one over the other. Here's the bottom line. LangChain's biggest strength, its incredible flexibility for building complex agents, can also be its weakness for simple RAG. It can sometimes feel like you're building a whole car just to go to the corner store. And on the flip side, LlamaIndex's laser focus on retrieval means it's historically been less about building those complex tool-using agents. They're almost perfect mirror images of each other. So let's make this super practical. Let's say this is your goal. You need to build a smart assistant that doesn't just answer questions from a PDF, but can also, check the weather by calling an API or search the web for the latest news. For that job, it's a no-brainer. You start with LangChain. Its whole agent framework is built for exactly this kind of orchestration. It's the general contractor you need to manage all those different jobs. Okay, but what about a different kind of project? This time, your goal is much more focused. You just want to build an amazing Q&A bot that can answer questions about your company's internal documents. And you need the answers to be really, really accurate. Here, LlamaIndex is absolutely the fastest path to a great result. It's what it was born to do. Its smart defaults and focus on high-quality retrieval will get you a better answer faster. You hire the expert librarian for the library job. Simple as that. But wait, what if you need both? What if you need a complex agent that also has to do high-quality search over your private documents? Well, this is where things get really interesting, because you don't actually have to choose. And this right here is the real pro move. It's the hybrid power play. You use each framework for what it is absolutely best at. You get LlamaIndex, your expert librarian, to build and manage that perfect searchable library, and then you bring in LangChain, the general contractor, to build the smart agent that can talk to that librarian but also use all its other tools. And this isn't just some clever theory, this is quickly becoming a standard best practice out in the real world. Smart teams are realizing you can leverage the specialized strength of LlamaIndex for the data part and the orchestration power of LangChain for the agent part. You really do get the best of both worlds. So let's tie this all together with a super simple checklist for you. 1. Is your main goal top-notch retrieval from documents? Start with LlamaIndex. 2. Do you need to build complex agents that use different tools? Start with LangChain. And 3. Do you need both of those things? Don't choose. Use the hybrid approach. It really is that straightforward. So there you go. You have the blueprint. You know the general contractor, you know the expert librarian, and now you even know how to get them to work together on the same project. The only question left is, what are you going to build?